Hello, hello. Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Inglês Book Club. Today I am here with Alexia.
Hello, hello. It's my pleasure to be here.
It is a pleasure having you. So Alexia, first, how you doing?
Cold. I'm extremely cold. Today's really cold here. And
Yeah.
we are in a basement again.
We are in a basement. People are walking on top of us. Quite literally, we are standing up. It looks like we are about to fight, but it's just because we are trying to stay warm.
And counting steps, always.
Yes. Yes, that is an entirely different thing for another time. But today, Alexia, this is the end of the first week of the Inglês Book Club. So we have already learned a lot of things about different types of reading, like intensive reading, extensive reading, how to start reading effectively and really use reading to improve your English. But I just wanted to bring you in today to talk about your experience reading in general. What are some of the difficulties that you face personally? What are some of the benefits that you get from reading? Just to kind of give our students some context and hopefully some motivation.
Of course.
Does that sound good?
Yes, it does.
Cool. Awesome. So do you want to start with the good or the bad?
You choose. Go ahead.
Okay, I think neither one of these is bad. But I think it would be a good place to start thinking about what are some of the difficulties for you reading. So when I'm asking this question, I'm thinking in two different categories. First, reading in general. Like you are a good English student. You know that reading is good for you, like as a life skill, but also really good for your English. But it's still not easy to read a lot, you know? So on one hand, just creating the habit of reading more. Why is that difficult? And also more specifically, when you are reading, what is difficult? Like technical things in terms of vocabulary or understanding things. So I know that's a mouthful, a lot of questions. Feel free to begin wherever you want.
So I think that nowadays a huge problem that we face is that everything is so easy and it's in front of us and that's it. We don't have like the mindset to stop and start reading something new because you already know that you'll have difficulties to read that and understand an expression and new vocabulary, and it depends on the book that you're reading, right?
Exactly.
So I blame a lot on the modern days.
Okay, so you're placing a lot of the blame on modernity. Interesting.
Yes.
So it sounds like you're kind of talking about two things. First, the difficulty of starting. And this is a real thing. You have a book, it's interesting, you know you want to read it,
It's
but
ridiculous.
it's a big book and just getting that first step is hard.
And it's not if it's a big book or a short book.
Right.
It's not small, right? It's short.
Yeah, a small book would actually be referring to the physical size of the book.
And short is the amount of pages.
The number of pages.
Yes. Yeah. So it's not because of that. It's just like starting. It's crazy because I took pictures of more or less 10 books the last 3 months that I would like to read.
Mm-hmm.
And I just started like last week.
Yeah, it's easy to make a reading list. It's much more difficult to actually start reading.
Yeah.
So do you want to hear one tip that I have?
Of course.
Okay.
We are here for that.
So naturally, I just finished reading a book called Tiny Habits.
Mm-hmm.
I love reading about habits, routines, that kind of thing. But the idea is make the smallest possible habit imaginable. So if you are having difficulty starting a book, just tell yourself, okay, today I'm going to read the first page of the book. That's all I have to do. Or perhaps this week, every day I'm going to read one page of the book. And then once you do that, you can start to gain a little bit of momentum and probably you will begin enjoying the book and you just start reading. But if you can't read one page, we can't really help you.
It's just like physical exercise. You just have to start. And then you run 1 mile and you run 2 miles and then you run 3 miles. It's the same as reading. It's crazy to think that during our parents' generation and before that, of course, everything was about books, every single thing. And nowadays, it's not. So we are suffering a lot with that.
Yeah.
Plus, when you start reading and it starts to be difficult, you kind of like, you don't want to let yourself down, right?
Right. Yeah.
So it's a balance that you had to have.
Yeah. This is something that we talk about specifically in the course is the pleasure and motivation and sense of achievement and accomplishment that you receive when you actually finish a book. So I really believe in this modern day age of 24/7 information. You get a ton of pleasure and this amazing feeling when you start a book and you finish it. So I think that is super, super cool and important.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm loving to read before going to sleep. For me, it's when I calm down. I don't even look at my cell phone before or after that. And I just go to sleep with my mind clear. So I think this is one of the biggest benefits to read as well.
Absolutely. And this is something that we've already mentioned in the course. So, Alexia, we talk about the difference between intensive reading and extensive reading. So, intensive reading is essentially reading very carefully. You're reading like a small piece of a text, analyzing every single word. That's like you're studying. Extensive reading is what you would normally just think of when you think of reading.
Yeah.
You're sitting in bed, you're enjoying the process. That's really important because not only you are in a calm state of mind, you are relaxed, but you are also in a very relaxed environment. So everything is perfectly set up so you can read successfully. You don't have your phone, you're comfortable, you're warm, you're quinchina, you're ready to go. And that's something that we focus on a lot is just creating the right environment for you to succeed.
Yes. And another point that I would like to comment, if I may.
Sure.
Everyone is always sending us messages and emails like, I'm really worried about my vocabulary and etc. And I always say, start reading, even if it's a magazine or something that you like on the internet, just start reading because this is the best way that you're gonna gain the new vocabulary and make sure that you are understanding. And I want to ask you, like, when you are reading just before bed, for example, I feel that I am absorbing, like the new
absorbing. Absorbing.
It's
a B.
with a B?
Yeah.
It's so crazy. Absorbing the new vocabulary.
Yeah.
And I think that I will start using the new vocabulary more and more automatically and organically. This happens, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So if you think about passive vocabulary acquisition and active vocabulary acquisition, so for example, if you're reading intensively and you're studying each and every word, you're taking notes, and then you have flashcards or something like that, that's one way to directly acquire more vocabulary. But also, if you are reading in bed and you continue to see the same words, you are creating this imaginary world in your head of characters in different places, those words will start to subconsciously enter your English vocabulary and you will start to use them in conversation. There are a lot of different ways to attain more vocabulary. We talk about a lot of them in the challenge, and there are different ways for different situations. But for sure, to answer your question, if you are just reading, even if it doesn't feel like, okay, I'm studying vocabulary, you're making progress. You're learning new words, of course.
Okay. Yeah. So I think that's it for me.
Cool.
I don't remember any other point that I would like to make, but I can come back at any time.
Please, we would always love to have you. Awesome. So thanks a lot, Alexia. I hope you guys have learned a lot in the first week of the book club. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. We are here for you. And have a happy weekend full of books, warm cups of tea, and maybe some puppies.
Perfect.
Okay, we will see you guys on Monday.
Bye.